Hey everyone, welcome to the programme. I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Easton and this week we're in Abu Dhabi attending the capital's annual Culture Summit. This year's theme addresses the role of new technology and the arts, asking how can the digital movement be harnessed for positive change. A little bit later on, we'll roam the halls of the Sharjah Biennale, where more than 80 established and emerging artists are displaying deliberately thought-provoking works. But first, leaders in the museum and art world have been convening in the capital to discuss cultural responsibility and the potential role that technology could play in solving some of today's creative problems. The third annual Culture Summit in Abu Dhabi saw industry experts from 90 countries drill down into how technology could be a commanding force for the arts in the Emirates. The UAE's culture minister emphasised that culture had to be inclusive, transcending all levels of society, adding that technology would shape the future of the domestic art scene and inviting companies like Google to propose advancements that would help drive, but not control, the sector's creativity. Looking to the wider region, Al-Kabi gave an example of how VR technology was helping the UAE's $50 million reconstruction of one of Iraq's holiest monuments and a site of cultural beauty, which was destroyed in 2017.
Technology is helping us and also looking at rebuilding Al-Nouri Mosque in Mosul. We announced the rebuild of the minaret and the mosque. Last year, we visited the mosque, but in Paris, and thanks to the virtual reality technology that is helping us to look at the virtual sphere that will help us in the future with reality.
A cultural heavyweight and respected art historian at the summit was Tim Marlowe of the Royal Academy of Arts in London. He pointed to how the popularity of museums and galleries wasn't waning in this digital world. If anything, he said, technology was encouraging people through their doors.
It's a massively important arena through which more people can be driven to institutions and museums. It's a means through which artists can explore what it is to be human and post-human. And also, it's a way of documenting the past and archiving the past and our future understanding of the past and its deterioration and what we might want to preserve will also be mediated through technologies.
At the creative helm of an institution which is 251 years old, Marlowe offered up his thoughts on how the UAE could mature its burgeoning art scene.
I'm going to give advice, which is to believe in the power of art actually to change fundamentally, however subtle it is, the way people see the world and the way they engage with each other. And that's a very powerful tool. And it's something that our political masters can learn, and it can be bottom-up as well as institution down.
Abu Dhabi will increase its tourism marketing spend by $136 million over 3 years. And alongside the completed Louvre Abu Dhabi, the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi is a project earmarked for Saadiyat Island. The experimental sculptural building, which is the work of famed architect Frank Gehry, is currently under development. And to get an update on the project, Inspire caught up with Richard Armstrong of the Guggenheim Foundation in New York. Richard, a very warm welcome to Inspire Middle East.
Thank you very much.
You're a frequent visitor to the UAE and to the capital. So tell me, what do you make of the art scene here?
Well, I think it's a place of growing curiosity. There's a good base at various universities and in neighborhoods that are, I think, on their way to becoming creative capitals. And I see it as a place that has a big future, both for artists and for viewers.
And regarding the Guggenheim, can you give me a progress report? Is it on time, on track, on budget?
Yeah, we're on track and we're on budget, and we're looking forward to the commencement of the building construction soon.
Now, Frank Gehry's building is a complicated one to construct. So what's the timeline there for the build?
I reckon it'll be 3.5 or 4 years. It's a big building. Parts of it are quite complex, and it should take a little bit of time to put together. It's quite large also.
What can we expect to see inside it?
Well, we've been working with our colleagues here to put together what we think is really the first global collection after 1965. So we'll be seeing important examples of work from all parts of the world, mostly in the wake of pop art. Oh, we have great, I think, very great paintings and sculptures by younger artists, and I know on the top floor in particular, we expect to have very overscaled, interesting work by the likes of James Turrell, or Ernesto Neto, or Monika Sosnowska from Poland.
Looking at the digital age and museums, do all of them really need to adopt new technology?
I think it's always useful to broaden not only the knowledge pool, but also the pool of inquisitive people. So to the degree that those things can happen, yes. Well, it can offer you a lot of background information that you wouldn't typically have, probably, and beyond which it can replicate what it is you're looking at inaccurately, but in a way that you might recognize until you see the real thing.
Tell me, you've walked the streets of this capital, you visited our cultural institutions, so what art would you like to see more of?
I think probably the best thing that might happen here is if the market could expand. It's better when artists have the opportunity of supporting themselves based on the allegiance of private buyers, and that's a way of demonstrating that capitalism can work for the better.
Is there, in your opinion, a need for more public art, more sculptures, murals, street art, graffiti?
I reckon that'll happen, but typically I don't have a big taste for that kind of activity. No, I much prefer landscaping. And I frankly think there aren't that many artists who are able to put together something that goes in public which really reflects that sense of nuance and or the sense of shared value. So we wind up with sometimes murals and other kinds of monuments that really don't completely convince anyone.
But doesn't technology take something away from the origins, the traditions of going to a museum where people come to stand and stare?
That's what I like the best.
Especially with children, does that still wash?
Oh, I think it does. I think one of the great attributes of my occupation is to allow people to be uneducated, and they can bring what they need in front of any work of art and make of it what they wish. There really is no misinterpretation in my point of view.
Where might be next for Guggenheim? After Abu Dhabi, where's the next stop?
I always say, somewhat comically, Mars. I think I should say, to be more accurate, that building the museum here, helping the Emiratis get it going, and making certain it's on the right path will really consume all of our energies over the next 10 years, I reckon.
And on that note, we shall end our discussion. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Richard. Now in its 14th year, the Sharjah Biennale has attracted art lovers from right across the region to its doors with an exhibition of very diverse pieces. Rosie Lees-Thompson has more on an event which has seen artists producing work under the theme of leaving the echo chamber.
For the next 7 weeks, Sharjah is awash with art. Paintings and sculptures are dotted across repurposed and customized sites throughout the emirate. The showcase is Sharjah Biennial, and under the banner Leaving the Echo Chamber, around 80 artists have tackled subjects from war and migration to climate change and politics. Visitors are taken on a multi-sensory journey, with virtual reality, performance art and sound compositions all used to arouse thoughts on societal issues.
For centuries, art has been a tool for stimulating social debate. And at Sharjah's Biennial, visitors are encouraged to open their minds, reflect on preconceptions, and engage in dialogue.
Lebanese artist Lawrence Abu Hamdan uses audiovisual installations in his piece Once Removed to offer a new perspective on the Lebanese Civil War. The artwork centers on his muse, Bassel Abi Shaheen, who believes he's the reincarnated soldier Yusuf Fawad, who died at the age of 16 fighting in the war. Flashbacks and unexplained memories led Abi Shaheen to extensively research the sectarian conflict to understand what he believes was his former life.
He's part of my generation who don't learn anything about the war, and also he's someone who came back in his past life as a soldier from that war and who has a very personal and urgent relationship to it. He died fighting there. So he really exists in two times at once, and that tension between those two times is what the work is really trying to deal with and tackle.
Abu Hamdan often blurs the lines between artist and humanitarian. Through his work, he has supported human rights investigations and provided evidence at an asylum and immigration tribunal in the UK.
I'm really interested in using art to experiment with the limits of what could constitute testimony to an event. It's not my job necessarily to just give the facts as you would have them in the news, but to find other strategies. Art could be its own way of making truth.
Emirati artist Ala Idris analyses the pace of progress in her hometown Sharjah over the past decade with her installation, The Black Boxes of Observational Activity. By playing manipulated videos of the seemingly familiar, she challenges what the observer believes to be the truth.
If you're just looking for, beautiful art, to me, I think it's just decoration. You have to, push boundaries with your artwork and really make the viewer question what they're seeing and what it means within their context.
With artists looking to leave an impression, they hope their work is not just being seen, but also heard.
Well, that is a wrap of our show. We hope that you enjoyed it, and don't forget you can catch all of our programmes online at euronews.com. Before I say goodbye, here are some social media posts that caught our attention this week. Iranian artist Sassan posted this time-lapse of his calligraphy installation at the Sharjah Biennale, saying he loved to connect with artists from different cultures. And talented Egyptian teen Naima performed at Abu Dhabi's Culture Summit, saying her singing is inspired by music from all over the world.